Hello and welcome back to this channel. Today I'm going to be talking about safety in Mexico. I'm going to be sharing my personal experience from traveling to the country, as well as pointing out some area-specific risks. Mexico is such a beautiful and exciting country to visit. There's really something for everybody. There are the exciting big cities, there are the natural wonders, there are the beaches, there's loads of culture, so many things to see, probably one of the most diverse countries you can visit. Mexico also gets a lot of bad headlines in the media, and it's true, there is a lot of crime going on in Mexico. Many deaths due to gang violence and other dangers involving drugs and cartels. That's all true, but that doesn't mean that there's not a safe way to visit Mexico overall. And you probably came to this video to find out more about the places that are actually safe to visit and how you should act while you're there. While I was in Mexico, I felt pretty good overall. I was quite cautious because I also heard many bad things about the crime rates in the country. So I was especially cautious in areas that weren't as touristy as others. In those areas I did feel a bit nervous and just on alert, watching out for things that didn't really look right. But then in more touristy places I relaxed much more and I didn't have any fears. So let's give you a quick roundup on which places I have visited in Mexico. I've visited Mexico City, Villahermosa, Palenque, Tulum, Merida, Valladolid, Chichen Itza, Isla Olbos, Playa del Carmen and Cancun as well. Most of these places I've just mentioned I explored all by myself, but I did get some information beforehand from the hotels I was staying at, just to let me know about what areas are safe and where I should rather not go. Regarding safety tips while traveling, I don't really want to repeat myself too much, because I've already done a video about travel safety in Colombia. So if you haven't seen that video, I do strongly recommend to go ahead and watch that too. But I'm gonna sum it up again quickly here. Overall, wherever you travel, it makes sense to be a bit careful. That goes for places with higher crime rates, but also for places with lower crime rates. It always makes sense to get that extra information from locals you trust, from hotels you stay at. It always makes sense to not wear expensive things. It's always more dangerous during the night than during the day, and it does also make sense to wear a money belt so you don't have all your money in one place. Distribute it well and don't make it visible easily. A typical crime that could happen to tourists in Mexico is an armed robbery. Usually the criminals would take you to an ATM and would ask you to withdraw money. Of course, there's no universal way to prevent that from happening to you, but if you follow the tips I have just mentioned, it's much less likely. I do also recommend you to use ATMs that are in a safe position. This could be in a shopping mall, inside a police station, but definitely not in a dark alleyway. In Mexico, I do also recommend to avoid cartel states. These are states where there's lots of drug trafficking. The crime rates are really high. You can look this up on the internet and check if the state you are planning to visit is one of these more dangerous states. There are some beautiful graphics on that already existing in the internet. I advise you to avoid the states with high crime rates and stick to the more touristy ones. If necessary, take a plane to get to your next destination instead of riding the bus through these states, especially not during the night. If you stick to the more touristy states like Yucatan, for example, you will be very safe, but at the same time you still have to look out for tourist scams there. These might be offers that are just way too expensive. Again, make sure to ask a trusted local or a hotel you're staying at. Ask them, for example, if the price the tour company asks you to pay is reasonable or not, and also do some research online on general prices. Let me now go through these places I have visited. First up, I went to Mexico City, a city that is so big. Of course, there's also lots of crime. Overall, I felt pretty good in Mexico City. I stuck to the main highlights of the city. There's lots of police around. And again, I made sure to be inside as soon as night came. There was one situation where I was walking around filming content for this channel, and I was spotted by a local who was unhappy with me taking pictures of the area. So he communicated with a friend on the other side of the street to go and get me or talk to me, I don't know. So I just kind of got out of that situation fast, put my camera away and just made sure there were enough other people around me and I wasn't alone trapped in an alley. I do recommend to visit Mexico City. Again, just get some information beforehand, stay in the city center and stick to the touristy sites. I stopped by Villahermosa because it was a good way to get to Palenque for me. That city was very authentic. I didn't spend much time there. It's also not really a place you would want to visit because it's just very hectic and kind of a transit point for the country. However, I didn't have any issues. I walked around, got something to eat and then got on my bus to Palenque. In Palenque, you won't really have to worry about anything because again, this is very popular for tourists. So there are loads of hotels. Look out for scams, obviously, but there's not as much crime as in other places. The same goes for the Riviera Maya. So all of these places I have mentioned, Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Isla Holbox, Tulum, Merida and Valladolid. Keep being careful, but you won't have to worry as much. You can go out at night and you can move more freely overall. Overall, there's not one single truth to safety in Mexico because the country is just so large. So there are definitely places where it's perfectly fine to visit, but there are also places where you should rather not go if you're a tourist. As I said, it's super diverse, which just means it's really important that you check which state you want to travel and then make your decisions based upon that. I hope this was somewhat helpful for you. If you have any advice on how to travel Mexico, if you have more questions regarding safety in Mexico, please ask in the comments. Thank you very much for watching today and I'll see you in the next video.